Go. Cool. So, where are we? Tenses. Tenses overview. Everything is awesome. How do I get rid of this? Hide. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're looking at a tenses overview. We're looking at what the tenses are in English. Remember to take notes. Remember to participate. And remember to go back and review this. It's all part of the learning process. The tenses. So we're looking at them together in one. Usually in most schools, you kind of look at grammar bit by bit by bit. But what we're looking at is an overview. So it's a summary. It's looking at it from a bit of a distance. So what are the tenses? Okay, the tenses are basically whatever is happening in the past, in the present, and in the future. So it's related to time. It's all about time. Past, present, future. Within those past, present, and future, we've got subtle differences of meaning. We've got the simple, the progressive, the perfect, and the perfect progressive. So the past has the past simple, the past perfect, the past progressive, and the past perfect progressive. The present has the present simple, present progressive, present perfect, present progressive. And the future has the future simple, the future progressive, future perfect, and the future perfect progressive. So any of you guys are mathematicians? How many tenses are there? 12. Yeah? Past times 4, the present times 4, and the future times 4. So 12 tenses. So we're going to be looking at them and looking at them one by one. I hope this helps. So first off, let's look at this kind of image here I've got here. And we've got today, it's pretty much bang on 6:30. I was right when I did this today. We're Friday, 6:30, 2020. That is now. That's the present moment. This is when I'm recording this. Friday, 6:30, 2020. That's the present moment. That is what is now. So imagine this being a timeline. Okay, and time moves, right? You got the past, the present, and the future. Time is continuous. It's always constantly going on, and where there's always what is the present moment, right now, in this moment, right now. Yeah, Buddhas relate this to peace. Like this is everything. Everything is the present moment. The past doesn't exist anymore. The future doesn't exist either. The only thing that exists is the present moment. Right, you're going outside. Come on. Can't have you crying out. No, Kitty, you don't come in. Animals. That's the problem about working at home. So, the present moment, right? We understand that this is the present moment right now, and this is what we're looking at as kind of a timeline. So, we've got the past, the present, and the future. The time, in this case, is going from left to right. So, yeah, as we can see here, the past is yesterday, the present is right now, and the future is tomorrow. Oh, okay. So, what is the present simple? Present simple is used to talk about everyday activities, okay? So, things that are happening in the past, the present, and will continue in the future. So, things that you've got marked out as like your activities, call them everyday activities. Example, I go swimming every other day. So, it's every other day, not every day, but every other day you go swimming. So, it's an activity. It's something that's regular, that you expect to happen on a regular basis. It's kind of part of your routine, part of your habits. Okay, or it can also mean facts as well. Present simple is also used for facts. For example, I'm a doctor. So there's kind of this idea of this stable, like one, it's a fact. It doesn't change. Doesn't change in the past, doesn't change in the present, doesn't change in the future. Well, it certainly is true in the future, in the present moment anyway. You assume that it will continue into the future. When you are a doctor, you don't change. You don't normally change to a different career. It's usually a career for life, no? Usually. Or I'm a British national. I can't change that. That's always going to be true. Or the world spins around the sun. That's also something that's not going to change. Might change in a million years, but not right now. It's pretty much a daily fact. So, if we look at the past simple, it's a finished or completed event. So if today is the 16th, well, we're talking about something that happened on Monday, and that's it. It's just finished, and we have the date. We know what day. So I washed my car last Monday. So I know that happened there. Washed my car last Monday. On Monday, I washed it. Today we're in the future, right? So this is now in the past. It's an action that finished or was completed. It could be an action or an event, but it's finished. It's done. We know when it happened as well. It's quite specific. Similarly, the future simple is a future event. A single event, we know the time again. So, for example, I will go to Panama on the 30th. So today now is the 14th. You're talking about the day in the future when you will go to Panama. You will travel on that specific day. It's an event that's coming up in the future. So we saw in the simple are these kind of events that take place. If it's in the past, it's something that's finished. If it's the future, it's just something specific for a future event that's going to occur. And if it's in the present, it's usually for a fact or a routine, something you do frequently. Now, the present progressive is slightly different. So now it's the progressive tense. Really want to focus on what is the progressive, because this is a temporary and continuous action. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this so well, but here are my two examples. And I'm giving you two examples because there is variation in the meaning. In one case, we have I'm studying at university, short uni. Uni is short for university. So this is something that you might not be doing right now in this moment, but it's over an extended period of time, 5 years maybe, 3 to 5 years, 7 years even. But it's not something that you're going to do forever. It's temporary. You're going to finish studying at university. Alternatively, you've got something like I'm teaching a class right now. So depending on the time basis, this could be from just half an hour ago into the past, and they're both probably going to continue into the future. I'm teaching a class right now. I'm still continuing to do it. That's why it's called the continuous, or it's progressive. It's progressing. We're not sure how long it's going to go into the future, but we can safely assume that in the moment it's going to continue for the time being. We don't know when. It's not specifying when it will finish. But it's happening right now, and it's a temporary action. Right now or around now. So the past progressive is a simultaneous past event. It's used to describe when two things are happening in the past. So the idea of I'm doing something now is progressively happening. The same with the past progressive. It's something that was happening in the past, but now related to a different event in the past. For example, I was traveling around Brazil when I met my wife. So today, let's say, is the 15th. Let's say last week I was traveling around Brazil. Like that was something I was doing for a week. I was constantly traveling, right? It was a trip. And during that trip, let's say I went from the 6th to the 7th to the 8th to the 9th to the 10th. On the Thursday, I met my wife, like now, she's now my wife. Maybe in this case, that was very quick to get married, based on this calendar. Because if you met her on 10, you're getting married very quickly. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's like a Las Vegas kind of wedding. Um, so anyway, the point is that something was happening, traveling. That was the background. Okay, that was that was what was going on when another event, a simultaneous event, happened. Another event happened at that time. Or I've given two examples because you could also have what is the two simultaneous events that were progressive or continuous at the same time. So in this case here, we have the past progressive with the past simple, because the past simple, as we remember, is just a one-time event. It's not progressive. It's not happening over a duration of time. It's like, oh, I met my wife. That was like a moment, right? That was a time, a specific time in the past. However, you could be saying, well, what were you doing while you were studying? So that's a question, right? But maybe you were studying for 3 days, but then you didn't do anything. So what were you doing while you were studying? Like maybe you were checking your phone constantly. So those are two continuous events at the same time. What here you use when for the past simple and while for the present, the past progressive and the past progressive. So these are two things happening at the same time. Or one thing was happening while, boom, another event happened. And obviously, it continues to, that event, like traveling, didn't stop when I met my wife. No, I continued to travel. So the future progressive is similar, but now it's just being pushed into the future. So it's the same thing. I will be having lunch when you call. So imagine you're eating, or like I'm going to say, like, when you call me tomorrow, I will be eating my lunch because you will call me at 1 p.m. And I know at 1 p.m. I will be eating my lunch. Interestingly, when we use when, we revert back to the present simple here. Just to take note of that. It goes back in the present, not in the future. Strange, slightly strange. But also the same thing again, you can have two simultaneous events using while. I will be studying while working. But again, pushed into the future. So today's the 15th. I'm talking about what's going to happen on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd next week. What will you be doing? I will be studying while working. Yeah. So perfect tenses. So this perfect tense is a little bit complex because we have different usages. Okay. So for example, I have been to Machu Picchu. Okay, is an experience, but we don't know. It's not specific. There's no time. We don't know. So today is the 22nd. I've been to Machu Picchu means sometime in the past I went, I experienced it. I know what that is like. But it also could mean an event that started in the past and it continues to the present moment. So in this case, I have been living in Cusco for a week. So in this case, I'm also adding the continuous, been living. If we just go back, I have been, and this was I have been living. So with the ing verb because it's in the progressive or continuous tense. Because like if we look at the calendar here, it's like, okay, I arrived last week and I've been continuously living for 1 week. If you do remember back to what we said about it being temporary, this does have a feeling of it being temporary. If you said, I have lived in Cusco for a week, then you might be implying that it's more permanent. I have lived in Cusco for 8 years and I don't have any plans to go anywhere. So the continuous, again, also always has that kind of feeling of temporariness. Is that a word? Temporariness? It's temporary. Doesn't feel permanent. What's important is that it happened in the past and it's true to the moment. Like today, I still live in Cusco. So it's true to the present moment. The past perfect, okay, same thing. It's relating between two events, but now in the past. The present perfect was an event that started in the past and it continues to the present. And in this case, it's the past perfect tense. So it's two related past events. And you're basically doing it to sequence it, which one went first. So we weren't allowed in because the class had begun. So the class begun, let's say this is hours, and we arrived too late, so we weren't allowed in. We weren't allowed in because the class had already begun. It had begun before we tried to get into the class. So it's the same as the present, the perfect, like it's about two related past events, and it's for sequencing. So which one came first? It's to clarify which one was actually first in the order. Now, it's kind of redundant, and that means it isn't really used in American English. Some people just don't do it. They just say, we weren't allowed in because the class began. But I think it is clearer with the past perfect tense. Finally, the future perfect tense, and I'm sorry there's a mistake here, should say the future perfect tense. The future perfect tense is two related future events, okay? So it's the same thing now, but being pushed into the future. However, it's possible that when the second event happens, the first event could have been from the past, could be in the present, or could be the future. It's quite flexible. So let's say by 2021, the pandemic will hopefully be over. So the pandemic started in the past and is here in the present, and hopefully by 2022, it will be over. But maybe it could be an event that starts by 2022, the World Cup in Qatar will have finished as well. So that's a future event and another future event. So that's the future perfect tense, not the past future perfect tense. Sorry about that mistake. And let's review. So there are two that I didn't do as well. I didn't do the past perfect continuous, and I didn't do the future perfect continuous. The reason why is because they are quite complicated and they're not really used very much. It's very rare that you use these. So I really wanted just to focus on the main ones. This is what I'm presenting today. The other ones are just almost redundant. Like I was saying, it just doesn't get used enough to justify teaching it that much. So let's have a look. So I play every day. Present simple, right? What do we use it for? Habits, routines, and facts. I play every day. In the negative, I don't play every day. And in the question, do you play? Yeah, so we need the auxiliary verb do. In the past simple, it's an finished event, specific with time. This is a specific with time as well. It's every day. I played yesterday. I didn't play yesterday. So now instead of do, we got did. Or did you play yesterday? And the future simple is I will play tomorrow. I won't play tomorrow. Or will you play? Could also be going to. So you could use both. But in a way, be going to is kind of more like the continuous. It's actually like the present continuous pushing it into the future. So the past continuous is a past background event. I was playing, I wasn't playing, or were you playing? So what's important with the continuous is the verb to be. Not like the previous one was the verb do. With the simple, we now have the verb to be with the continuous. In the present continuous, it's temporary actions. Could be right now or around now. So I am playing, I'm not playing, or am I playing? Question. And the future continuous, I will be playing, I won't be playing, will I be playing? Question. Of course, for the question, we always bring the auxiliary or the helping verb to the front. And the perfect tenses. Now, instead of using the verb to be, we're using the auxiliary have. In the past, I had played. In the negative, I hadn't played. Or question, had you played? Had you played football before you came to Peru? Had you eaten guinea pig before you came to Peru? Two related past events. Present perfect continuous describes experiences or events that started in the past and continue to the present. So that's the more of the continuous one, the ones that continue into the present. So, I have been playing. I haven't been playing. Have you been playing? So this is the verb to be. You've got auxiliary have, verb to be, and also the verb in the ing. 1, 2, 3 verbs together. Very complex. I have played. I haven't played. Have you played? That's the present perfect for experiences. Have you played Call of Duty? Experience. I don't know when. It's not specific. Finally, the future perfect is two related future events. When are they going to coincide? Coincide. So I will have played 100 games of Call of Duty by 2021. I won't have played. Will I have played? Okay, so try writing your own sentences and showing their meaning for each tense. Okay? Example sentences showing their meaning as well for each of those tenses. That's a great exercise. You can see there's not that many tenses. We've seen them all now. Do you have any questions? Okay, is that clear? How could I make it clearer?